A woman ruled the Vatican. 1,085-year-old manuscript illustration shows a robed figure seated on St. Peter's throne, crown glinting, a scribe's hand labeling her Joanna, Pope. Scholars today recognize the image as a 15th century satire, not a contemporary portrait. The page, catalogued MS 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Paris, bears the hallmarks of late medieval satire. The legend first surfaces in a 13th century chronicle attributed to Martin of Opava, a Dominican chronicler writing around 1274. He records that a learned woman, disguised as a monk, rose to the papacy and reigned for 2 years before death and childbirth, according to his Latin text titled Chronicle and Pontificum. Yet no papal bull, no council record, and no contemporaneous letter mentions such a disruption. The abrupt disappearance of a female pontiff from official archives seems improbable. Could a secretive papal court have erased all traces, or is the story a later, entirely mythic invention? By the early 1300s, the tale appears in the Chronicle of the French monk Jean de Mailly, who included a cautionary note about a woman pope as proof of divine punishment. His manuscript, housed in the Vatican Library, Vatlat, 1120, reflects a growing moral agenda. The story quickly migrated into the 14th century golden legend compiled by Jacobus de Voragine, whose popular collection circulated across Europe. Illustrated copies from 1450 in Cologne depict Joan crowned, reinforcing the narrative for lay audiences who rarely accessed Latin chronicles, and were reproduced in illuminated manuscript for churches. Why would medieval writers, steeped in patriarchal theology, promote a tale that upended centuries of male authority? Was it a subtle critique of clerical excess, or merely a sensational story to attract readers? The answer lies in the political climate of the High Middle Ages. The Liber Pontificalis, the official papal biography compiled from the 6th to 9th centuries, lists every pontiff up to Pope Adrian II, 867-872, without interruption. Its entries for 85557 name Pope Leo IV and Pope Benedict III, leaving no gap for a hidden female successor. Correspondence from a 9th century Frankish court, such as the letters of Archbishop Hincmar of Reims to Pope Leo IV, discuss pressing political matters but never allude to a papal gender scandal. Their silence suggests the alleged reign was unknown to contemporaries, among the most detailed diplomatic records of the era. Could a deliberate purge have erased all papal records of a woman pope? Vatican archivists note that only a handful of 9th century documents survive, yet none mention a gender anomaly. The absence of any redacted entries raises doubts about a systematic cover-up or simple loss over centuries. The Annals Regni Francorum, the primary Frankish chronicle for 840-878, records the siege of Paris, the Viking raids, and Pope Leo IV's coronation, yet contains zero reference to a female pontiff. Its meticulous year-by-year entries make the omission striking, especially given its habit of noting even minor ecclesiastical changes. In 1150, the canon lawyer Gratian, author of the Decretum, explicitly rejects the notion of a female pope in his commentary, stating that only men may hold the chair of St. Peter according to canon law. His treatise reflects an early scholarly dismissal of the legend. If leading jurists and chroniclers dismissed the story, why did it survive in popular imagination? Did oral tradition preserve a kernel of truth, or did later writers embellish a cautionary tale? The next chapter examines the material record for clues within surviving art, tombs, and liturgical texts. Excavations of the Vatican catacombs, dating from the 4th to 9th centuries, have uncovered over 2,000 interments, all identified as male clergy based on grave goods and osteological analysis. No female remains bearing papal insignia have been found, undermining the physical basis for a hidden pontiff. A 12th century fresco in the Chapel of St. John at the Lateran complex portrays a procession of popes, each bearing the papal tiara. The sequence includes only the historically attested male pontiffs, confirming that contemporary artists recognized no female successor during that era, as recorded in the cathedral's 1187 inventory. Could secret chambers or lost relics conceal a papal tomb that mainstream archaeology missed? Extensive surveys using ground-penetrating radar in 2018 revealed no anomalous chambers beneath St. Peter's Basilica, suggesting that the legend lacks tangible burial evidence, and no medieval documents describe such a hidden crypt. During the 13th century, the Church faced rising calls for clerical reform and debates over women's spiritual roles, exemplified by the 1241 Council of Lyons' condemnation of the Beguine movement. The Joan narrative conveniently illustrated divine punishment for breaking gender norms, as chroniclers warned of moral decay. The Chronicle of Martin of Opava frames Joan's story as a cautionary tale. A woman, driven by ambition, usurps divine order and suffers a violent death. This mirrors the era's sermons linking personal hubris to collective calamity, and was often cited in preaching to discourage dissent. Why does a story rooted in medieval moralizing persist in modern culture, spawning books, films, and internet memes? Does its endurance reveal a human fascination with hidden histories, or simply the power of a compelling legend to outlive factual scrutiny through academic debates and popular media alike? Historian John McCormick's 1997 monograph, Pope Joan, The Legend and Its Origins, analyzes every surviving medieval source and concludes the narrative emerged from 13th century allegorical writing, not from contemporary testimony. His work cites paleographic dating, linguistic patterns, and the absence of any papal archive entry. In 2001, the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith issued a brief stating that no credible historical evidence supports a female pontiff, and that the legend reflects medieval myth-making rather than factual history. The statement references the same primary sources evaluated by secular scholars. Despite scholarly consensus, the Joan myth thrives on social media, where sensational headlines outrank nuanced analysis. What does this tell us about the modern appetite for hidden histories? And how can educators balance intrigue with rigorous evidence? The answer may lie in how stories captivate the human mind. The cumulative evidence, absence in papal lists, silence in contemporary chronicles, lack of archaeological traces, and modern scholarly analysis shows that Pope Joan never ruled Rome. The legend likely arose from 13th century moral storytelling, later amplified by popular literature, and continues to serve as a cautionary example of how myths can masquerade as history. The only medieval image that resembles a female pope is a 1490s woodcut by Johann Schauner, intended as a satirical critique of papal corruption, not a portrait of an actual ruler. Its exaggerated features reveal the artist's intent to mock, firmly to mock, not to document history. What other legendary figures, long dismissed by scholars, still capture the public imagination? As archaeology and digitized archives grow, hidden narratives may finally be examined with the rigor they deserve, reminding us that history's mysteries often hide in plain sight. In 2023, the Netflix series The Pope's Secret attracted millions, portraying Joan as a cunning reformer. Critics noted the dramatization ignored scholarly consensus, yet the viewership spiked interest in medieval women's history. Such popular portrayals illustrate how entertainment can reignite forgotten myths, blurring the line between fact and fiction. University courses on medieval studies now include a dedicated module on the Pope Joan myth, teaching students to evaluate primary sources, assess historiographical bias, and understand how legends form. Survey data from 2021 shows that 68% of history majors recognize the legend as a cautionary example of myth-making. Digitization projects like the Vatican's Secret Archives Online, launched in 2020, provide scholars worldwide with high-resolution images of 9th century documents. As machine learning analyses expand, any hidden reference to a female pontiff will be flagged, offering a definitive test for the legend's survival in the record.